Today I'm going to show you an action thriller film titled As Good as Dead. Be ready for spoilers ahead. The film kicks off along the Mexican border and introduces a man named Bryant, who works in construction. Bryant resides in an isolated house, where he diligently practices physical fitness and martial arts every morning. Not only does he refine his skills, but he also deepens his knowledge of martial arts. During these training sessions, a teenager named Oscar secretly observes Bryant's movements, a routine he follows nearly every day before heading off to school. After his training, Oscar rushes to school to ensure he isn't tardy. One day when Oscar returns from school, he encounters a group of gangsters known as L-17. One of these gangsters goes by the name Flaco. Oscar, tired of being extorted by Flaco, resolves to evade them. Fortunately, he manages to stay hidden, leaving Flaco and his cronies unable to locate him. Coincidentally, Bryant, who happens to be dining at a nearby restaurant, spots him hiding from the L-17 gangsters. Later in the evening, Flaco and his gang unexpectedly visit Oscar's house, still harboring anger over his escape earlier in the day. Flaco demands that Oscar pay him money until Oscar's brother returns home. It turns out that Oscar's biological brother is the leader of the L-17 gang, but he is currently in the United States. Flaco also threatens Oscar with consequences if he ever reports the incident to his brother. The following morning, as Oscar typically does, he secretly observes Bryant's movements. However, this time Bryant catches him, and instead of reacting with anger or annoyance, Bryant is willing to teach and train him. Oscar undergoes training in physical fitness and Bryant's fundamental martial arts techniques. Oscar is eager to practice every day, and over the course of nearly 4 months, he even learns some of Bryant's customized moves. Despite his training, Oscar continues to face extortion from Flaco, as his brother remains in the United States. Oscar eventually asks Bryant why he chose to teach him martial arts. Bryant explains that he witnessed Oscar being pursued by the gang and believes that Oscar should be able to defend himself. Oscar reveals to Bryant that his brother is the leader of the L-17 gang, but when his brother is absent, Flaco often mistreats him. One day, Flaco's car approaches Oscar and Bryant as they are practicing, and it turns out Flaco has arrived with Oscar's brother, Hector, who serves as the captain of the L-17 gang. Hector appears skeptical about Oscar's association with Bryant, suspecting that Bryant might be an undercover cop. He questions Oscar about his decision not to hang out with Flaco and instead choose Bryant as his companion. The following morning, Oscar, who has been prohibited by Hector from seeing Bryant, opts to visit a gym that specializes in mixed martial arts and boxing. Oscar's dream is to become a professional boxer, and this gym offers him the opportunity to pursue his passion. Oscar had recently become acquainted with a young woman named Marisol, who happened to be the daughter of the gym owner. One evening, Oscar, under Hector's influence, joined the gang, which included Flaco. They took Oscar to watch a free boxing match featuring a formidable fighter known as the Collector, who had never been defeated in the ring. They promised the audience a substantial prize for anyone who could defeat the Collector. As the Collector dispatched several opponents, Oscar, much to everyone's surprise, climbed into the ring and offered to challenge the Collector himself. Initially underestimated, Oscar's determination shone through when the fight began. He employed the martial arts moves he had learned from Bryant, leaving the audience astounded. Someone even recorded the fight, which ended with the Collector's defeat in less than 3 minutes. Remarkably, Oscar emerged from the fight without a single hit from the Collector. Hector was filled with pride at Oscar's unexpected triumph, while Flaco was left in shock and vowed never to trouble Oscar again. The following day, Oscar brought the L-17 gang to Bryant's house, much to Bryant's dismay. Bryant had not heard from Oscar for a week, and suddenly he was confronted by the L-17 gang. Hector explained that they were there to request Bryant's assistance in further training Oscar. Hector was determined to see his brother become a professional boxer, especially after Oscar's remarkable performance the previous night. Despite Hector's offers of money and even threats, Bryant adamantly refused to train Oscar again. Bryant warned them, including Oscar, never to approach him again. The scene then shifts to Kira Plangolf, a lawyer, who receives a shocking video from an anonymous source featuring Oscar's viral fight, which showcases his use of Bryant's martial arts techniques. It became evident that Bryant had drawn the attention of someone much more dangerous. The story shifts to a prison where Sonny Kilbin, a high-ranking Mafia boss, is escorted to a meeting with the lawyer who presented the viral video of Oscar's fight, emphasizing the use of Bryant's techniques. Sonny, recognizing Bryant, immediately ordered the lawyer to hire the most formidable hitman to track down and eliminate Bryant, who was believed to be hiding near the Mexican border. The next day, Oscar and Hector found themselves at Marisol's gym. Two twins named Ivan and Vlad approached them, claiming to be boxing promoters. Intriguingly, they had seen Oscar's viral fight and were interested in recruiting him. However, their true intentions became suspect when they asked about Bryant, displaying his picture. Hector, sensing danger, promptly ejected the twins. Hector, concerned about Bryant's safety, relented and agreed to accompany Oscar to inform Bryant about the situation. Arriving at Bryant's residence, Marisol and Oscar met with Bryant while Hector and his 2 associates waited in the car. Oscar informed Bryant about the twin hitmen who were searching for him. Bryant recognized the twins as the most ruthless hitmen, revealing that he left the group in a precarious situation. Mary Soul and Oscar hurriedly entered the house as Bryant suspected that the twin men might have already arrived. Bryant then gave the order for Hector and 2 of his companions to enter the house, only to face an unexpected ambush. Rushed inside the house, Hector demanded answers from Bryant, questioning why he was being pursued by these hitmen. Bryant finally revealed his true identity, admitting that he was a special police captain who had served in both the FBI and LAPD. Bryant's assignment during this period was to dismantle a high-profile Mafia syndicate, and he had successfully apprehended one of the Mafia's leaders, Sony, who was now behind bars. However, Sony's associates continued their relentless pursuit of Bryant, even though their boss was incarcerated. Bryant couldn't comprehend how they had suddenly located him, and Mary Soul suggested that they might have learned about him from the viral video of Oscar's recent fight on social media. This revelation left Bryant upset with Oscar, though he couldn't change what had already occurred. On another note, one of the twins went to fetch gasoline from their vehicle, intending to set fire to Bryant's house, while the other remained ready to open fire. Bryant instructed Hector to create a diversion by running towards the bulletproof glass within the next minute, while he planned to escape through a concealed passage. 1 minute later, Bryant's strategy proved effective, leading to the brutal death of one of the twins. Shortly thereafter, the surviving twin's brother arrived with the gasoline he had obtained from the vehicle. However, Bryant also succeeded in cornering him. Bryant confessed to killing his brother, which infuriated the surviving twin and prompted him to throw the gasoline canister. Bryant ultimately subdued the man and attempted to extract information from the hitman by dousing him with gasoline and threatening to set him on fire. But the hitman remained silent, maintaining his professionalism. In a desperate act, the hitman produced a lighter, causing him to perish in flames. After returning indoors, Bryant urged Hector and the others to leave immediately due to his concern that additional hitmen might be lurking outside. To ensure their safety, Bryant led them into a tunnel concealed beneath a mattress. While inside the tunnel, Hector inquired about Bryant's adversary and the reason behind the relentless pursuit. Bryant revealed that Sony, a high-ranking Mafia boss who also held a position as a police chief, was the one targeting him. He had long been involved in illegal arms selling and trafficking businesses. Despite Bryant's efforts to imprison him for life, Sony continued to operate his criminal enterprise from within the confines of prison. Bryant also shared the traumatic experience of his wife being tortured by Sony's henchmen. Fortunately, Bryant had rescued her, but fearing she would remain a target, he had staged his own disappearance to protect her, which appeared as if Bryant had been involved in a domestic violence incident leading his wife to seek a divorce. Since then, Bryant had been in hiding and his wife's whereabouts remained unknown. Upon reaching the end of the tunnel, Bryant instructed Oscar and the others to leave immediately while he returned to the house. He discovered corrupt police officers sent by Sony were already present and busy trying to break down the door, prompting Bryant to take action. Only 2 policemen remained, seemingly cornered by Bryant. However, he chose not to harm them and allowed them to escape. The following day, Hector and his men returned to Bryant's house, but Bryant had already departed. He had also cleaned up the previous night's bodies, making it appear as though nothing had occurred. Hector later met with Oscar and Mary Soul. He reassured them that despite Bryant's absence, everything would be alright. He encouraged Oscar to return to the gym and train even harder, not wanting him to waste the martial arts skills he had learned from Bryant. Subsequently, when Hector visited L7's locations, some of his men were mysteriously eliminated, putting Hector in a precarious situation. It was revealed that Alex, a corrupt policeman released by Bryant the previous night, was responsible. Alex and his men took Hector for interrogation. Alex demanded to know Bryant's whereabouts, but Hector, who wasn't close to Bryant, claimed he didn't know. In response, Alex ordered his men to cut off Hector's ear as a gruesome tactic. Unexpectedly, one of Alex's men was shot, and it turned out to be Bryant. Alex taunted Bryant, saying he should have finished him off the previous night, to which Bryant responded by eliminating Alex and some of his men. When his gun ran out of bullets, Bryant continued to flee, and Alex's men pursued him relentlessly. In a moment of exhaustion, Bryant managed to take down all of Alex's men. Bryant then returned and freed Hector before escorting him to his house. Meanwhile, Oscar and Mary Soul went to Bryant's house to confirm whether he had truly left. While Oscar was inspecting the back of the house, he was unexpectedly confronted by DEA agents who had come to protect Bryant, led by Eric, one of Bryant's former subordinates in the police. Eric had been trained in the same martial arts that Bryant had taught Oscar. Eric inquired about Bryant's whereabouts as the hitmen were still pursuing him. However, Oscar was unaware of Bryant's current location. Back on the road with Hector, Bryant explained how he had managed to expose a high-profile mafia organization led by Sony. It had taken him 12 years to uncover some of these crimes, during which he had even disguised himself as a mafia member for 7 years. The scene then shifted to Oscar, who began to suspect something was amiss with Eric after noticing that Eric was leading him in a different direction. Oscar discreetly reached out to Hector, alerting him to the fact that DEA agents under Eric's leadership were abducting him and Mary Soul. Upon hearing Eric's name, Bryant was surprised to discover that Eric, his former subordinate, had defected to Sony's men. Eric swiftly confiscated Oscar's cell phone and threw it away, making it clear that Oscar and Marisol were now in danger. The scene transitioned to Sony's lawyer, who was with a Mexican Mafia boss named Cesar Valdez. Valdez had suffered significant losses due to Sony's imprisonment and was Sony's business partner. Eric arrived with Oscar and Marisol, and the lawyer explained their plan to Valdez. It was evident that the lawyer intended to use Oscar and Marisol as bait to lure Bryant to Valdez's location, making it easier to ambush him. Upon hearing this, Valdez, who was well aware of Bryant's formidable skills, grew immediately agitated. He had no desire to see his establishment destroyed as a consequence of this plan. However, with the plan already in motion, Valdez reluctantly agreed, provided Sony would compensate him with $20 million. Oscar was provided with a cell phone to inform his brother about their location at Valdez's place. Behind the scenes, Hector and Bryant were convening with all the members of L-17, strategizing on how to rescue Oscar and Marisol. Shortly thereafter, the group members arrived at Valdez's place disguised as Mexican police officers, leading to a brutal shootout. Hector and Bryant entered through the back door and swiftly neutralized the individuals inside the premises. Frustrated by the news of his men being overpowered, Valdez vented his anger towards the lawyer. Oscar and Marisol were confined in a room under the watchful eyes of Valdez's man. At one point, Oscar managed to free himself and incapacitate the security guard. Hector and Bryant continued their advance while eliminating Valdez's men. Meanwhile, Oscar and Eric engaged in a duel, during which Eric gained control of a firearm. As he prepared to shoot Oscar, Marisol unexpectedly shot Eric in the leg before securing him on the pole. They then reunited with Bryant, who led them out. Valdez attempted to attack them with his firearm on their way out, but Hector intervened and subdued him from behind. Later that night, the FBI arrived at Valdez's mansion, which was now secure, and apprehended Eric. It was revealed that Bryant's wife, who had been separated from him for years, was among the FBI agents. Bryant could finally reunite with his wife. A few days later, Sony was escorted by the police in the interrogation room, seemingly unaware that a member of L-17 had been working undercover, and Bryant was also present preparing to torment him. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.